Ireland Leinster Football Championship clash of Meath and Offaly, a game of huge significance for both counties. Remember last summer, the meeting of these two sides heralded the end of Meath's reign as Leinster and All-Ireland champions, and for Offaly, it released a wave of jubilation for the county's football supporters.
The kick-out has put Meath in trouble again. Again, it's Colin Quinn. Nice ball ahead towards Roy Malone. Here's the goal chance. He's got it! What a start for Offaly! Roy Malone! Ned Carney, another championship newcomer. Here's Sean Brennan. Support play there from Vinnie Claffey. Offaly coming again, and they've got another one! Kieran McManus right on the sideline. Nicely inside here. Malone goes forward. A gap opens up, looking for his second goal of the match. Brilliant stuff by Roy Malone.
Yes, the rematch of these two sides is our featured game here on the programme tonight. Now, Pat Spillane and Tony Davis are with me here in studio to give us their thoughts on the match. We'll also be naming our man of the match from the game later on, and indeed we'll have a roundup of the other championship action that's also later in the programme. Right now, though, we pick up on the story of this Leinster football encounter between defending champions Offaly and Meath. The match commentators are Marty Morrissey and Colin O'Rourke.
James Brady gets a late call-up for the injured Phil Riley, who picked up an ankle injury in training yesterday. Brady played in the league final and acquitted himself well. Meanwhile, the Offaly attack is boosted by the return from injury of Sean Brennan, who missed the concluding stages of Offaly's first league title. It's a faithful county side that is still without the very talented Peter Brady, but James Stewart has been performing more than adequately in his absence. So strong are Offaly at midfield that Kieran McManus can be switched to wing forward. Match referee this afternoon is Pat Casserly. The two captains, Finbar Cullen on the left, seems to have won the toss and has decided to play with wind advantage in the first half. Barry Callaghan made his reputation nationally 2 years ago as a corner forward as Meath won the Sam Maguire Cup. Today, after a long period of frustrating injuries, Callaghan is back, but amazingly as a centre-back. Expected to be in the half-back line, but still in the attack, is the versatile Graham Geraghty, who surprisingly starts at centre-forward. Two men who missed last year's Leinster decider, Mark O'Reilly and Darren Fay, return to their familiar full-back line positions, alongside Donal Curtis. The strongest part of this Royal County selection has to be the half-forward line of Trevor Giles, Graham Geraghty and Jim McGuinness. The repeat of last year's Leinster final decider has been the talking point for some months now, and almost 50,000 people are packed in here to headquarters. The match referee is Pat Casserly. It's the 21st championship clash between Offaly and Meath. Meath win at the moment, or lead by 11 wins to 9. It's a lovely calm day in Croke Park. Slight wind advantage favouring Offaly in this first half. Brendan Riley, a doubtful starter last week, is very much on the field of play. The captain gets his first point of the championship after just 25 seconds of play. Nice play and a good intelligent ball to the full forward, who left John Ryan for dead. All the preparations for the last 9-10 months, both in Meath and in Offaly, is down to the next 70 minutes. Even the league win for the first time for Offaly fades into insignificance when it means playing Meath in the Leinster Championship. An early catch for John Ryan. Knocked down for John McDermott. Trevor Giles. Barry Callaghan. They want to give him the first touch of it all possible. Well won this time by John Ryan. Recovered from conceding an early score to Brendan Riley. First free of the match is to the faithful county.
The marking arrangements have changed in the Meath backline. Mark O'Reilly is marking Vinnie Claffey, and Enda McManus has switched over onto the left wing to mark Colin Quinn. I suppose putting Mark Riley on Vinnie Claffey is putting one of Meath's best backs on probably Offaly's best forward.
Good tactical awareness by Meath as Kieran McManus sends this in. Goalkeeper Conor Martin shouts clearly, but he stepped out over the end line and concedes the first 45 of the match. Like the referee won't allow that. I'm sure that the umpire had his hand up as if it was a 45. Pat Castley, meanwhile, ties the boots.
The referee in that case gave a free out for Conor Martin being pushed. It'll be interesting to see how Darren Fay and Mark O'Reilly do. Of course, the Offaly full forward line absolutely destroyed Meath in last year's Leinster final, so the main defenders are back, Darren Fay and Mark O'Reilly.
Vinny Claffey combining with Colm Quinn. Great speed, the accuracy, catches the approachment. On a sides level, it took Offaly 3 minutes to get their first score in the championship. Nice combination play here between Vinny Claffey and Colm Quinn, and a good point with his left foot. Aerial duel between Ronan Mooney, James Brennan, McDermott and Nestor for Meath will be interesting to say the least. This is Ray McGee, and get there, sideline ball to Offaly. Barry Malone, the kicker. By Malone. Remember, he is the full forward. There's an acre and a half of space down towards Conor Martin's goal. They need better, intelligent passing than that. And the McManus, Tommy Dowd rebounds off him. Comes to Colm Quinn. Brian Malone was pushed by Darren Fay. And that's going to be a free for Offaly. Been a lot of banter in both the faithful and the Royal Counties column about the fact that Offaly won last year's Leinster Championship final with what they describe in Meath as half a team because their full backline was missing.
Yes, with Darren Fay and Mark O'Reilly missing last year, Vinny Claffey and Roy Malone really made hay. What's interesting at this stage, Roy Malone is playing very, very far out and leaving James Stewart and Vinny Claffey inside. I thought it would have been the other way around with Stewart coming out.
Here's Kieran McManus. Offaly lead for the first time. And even after just 5 minutes, there's some interesting news from the sideline.
Yes, Marty, it seems that in all the excitement at the start of this game and with the rain just starting to fall, Offaly had to send people back into the dressing room to collect gloves. Back to you.
Colm Quinn trying to sidestep possibly a little bit too much. John McDermott is there for the Meath boys, so too is Conor Martin. And that's going to be a line ball. Tommy Dowd. Graham Geraghty's gone inside. Calling for it quickly is Jimmy McGuinness. Nice lob ball, and goalkeeper Corey Kelly did very well. Confident. It would certainly boost his confidence even more. Trevor Giles feeding. Nigel Nestor quickly. Ray McGee with him is Barry Malone. Still McGee. Jersey pulled. Referee waves play on. Corey Kelly is there for Offaly. Game being played at quite a frantic pace. An Offaly man is fouled as he was delivering that ball into the middle of the field, so that's a free for Offaly. Captain of Offaly, Finbar Cullen. Going Crossfield, surprisingly. Tommy Lyons usually likes it a little bit more direct. Enda McManus wins possession and the free. Up towards Brendan Riley. John Ryan is there. So too is Ronan Mooney, about to be challenged by Brendan Riley. Finbar Cullen. Not a good ball for his colleague. Mark Riley finds touch.
From an Offaly point of view, they'll take heart from the fact that John Ryan has started very well, even though Brendan Riley scored the first point. John Ryan has cleaned up the last 3 or 4 balls that went in there. Brendan Riley was the only Meath forward really in last year's Leinster final.
Here's Darren Fay. Donald Curtis needing to use John McDermott. Well bottled up. Back to Donald again. Slicing up his boot. Trevor Giles underneath it. 50-50 ball. It's Giles. Hard to imagine he's just 23 years of age. Still Trevor. The support is from Graham Geraghty. Ray McGee is inside all alone. Still Graham. Trying to get an angle, trying to get room, and he finally succeeds. Sends it wide, but Graham is arguing with the referee, Pat Casserly, saying, look at my jersey, it was pulled. I think, to give the referee credit here, he was giving him an advantage, which ultimately he didn't avail of.
Yes, but to most people, a free straight in front of the goal is a big advantage rather than a kick out of the hands under pressure.
Added to by James Brennan. Meath have it. Paddy Reynolds. Fouled. Here McManus. You can already see there is tension in this match in Croke Park. Terrible ball. Possession easily given away. Finbar Cullen. Finbar's passing just leaving a little bit to be desired today.
I think Marty, that was John Penny actually. He had plenty of room over there and he should have been able to deliver a good ball in.
Punched away. Paddy Reynolds. Good ball for Ray McGee. It's just carrying a little bit too much strength. Barry Malone with McGee. To Tommy Dowd. Cathal Daly trying to stay with him. Tommy getting in his shot. Still there for Meath. Goes off the Offaly man, and that's going to be a 45. Finbar Cullen protesting. But I think you will see that the ball did hit off Finbar Cullen as the ball dropped out over the end line. Graham Geraghty seemed to knock it down. Let's just see this again. As Graham got a hand to it, hit off Finbar's knee. Booing is certainly unwarranted and unneeded as Trevor Giles sends that to the left and wide. First wide of the game, in fact.
Unusual miss for Trevor Giles. The last time I saw him playing against Clare in a challenge match, he kicked over 4 or 5 50s in that particular game.
John Kenny. Centre forward Sean Grennan. Brian Malone has to come out, but Paddy Reynolds gets there first. Uses Trevor Giles and goes for the return. Good play by Paddy Reynolds. Ray McGee wants it crossfield. This is McGee. Got inside is Jim McGuinness. Good play by Ray. 2 Offaly players go the wrong way. Now he's overdoing it, and it's a poor pass. Picked straight off the ground by Paddy Reynolds, and that's going to be a free out to Offaly. But signs are that young McGee has some nice skill and has the confidence.
Yes, but in that case he should have shot. He had plenty of time and he just didn't have the confidence. It's easy speaking from up here, but a person playing their first championship match in Croke Park, but you know, on his left foot, he's very, very accurate. He should have gone for it.
John Kenny's free is quite accurate. Comes to Colm Quinn. Vinnie Claffey. Roy Malone. Conor Martin not beaten this time. Such confidence from Malone though to try a shot from that angle. James Brady. Ronan Mooney. Not very much a wayward shot. Offaly still leading on the scoreboard. They're level in terms of wides, one each.
Huge congestion of players around the middle of the field, which leaves plenty of room inside for both sets of forwards when the ball comes in fast.
James Brady anticipating well. Malone comes down towards Nigel Nestor. To his midfield colleague John McDermott. Brendan Riley fooled by the hop. John Ryan needs help from Ronan Mooney. To his midfield colleague James Grennan. Not a good one. Just some of the passing around midfield and the half-back line from Offaly, not quite up to its usual high standard.
No, the marking is very tight up front too, so players are looking to pick out players, but there isn't fellas available. There's nobody free because the marking is very tight at the moment. The only one that's getting a bit of room for Offaly is Colm Quinn.
Barry Callahan giving it towards Donald Lester. Donald Curtis one. Good run by the left cornerback. This is Nigel Nestor. Again, the point that Colm was making quite evident. Players going cross-field rather than direct because the marking is so tight, despite the fact that there's a lot of space up front. Brendan Riley. John Ryan not falling in quite yet. Now he is. It's going to be a free for me. Quite a difficult angle for young McGee. Great boost if he could send it over. It certainly won't. Meath still have it. Jim McGuinness. Back to Trevor Giles. Corey Kelly. Colm Quinn. It's a terrible pass actually for Colm. John Kenny is fouled. Free for Offaly. Jimmy Stewart. Colm Quinn. Up towards Roy Malone. Malone gets the break. Again, nobody readily available except Colm Quinn. Nice little shimmy. Half blocked down. Some holding by the Offaly forwards, and it's going to be a free out to Meath. Garrity. Pulled there by Finbar Cullen, quickly taken. There's a loose man available, and happens to be Brendan Riley, but the Offaly defence watched the loose break and cleared. Down towards Ginger. Jimmy Stewart. Pulled on first time by Mark O'Reilly. 9 ball for Offaly.
With the speed this game has been played at, it may take a while, but it will loosen out, and the marking won't be as tight in another 10 or 15 minutes. The players just can't keep up this incredible pace that it started at.
Colin Quinn is the man taking the fray. Darren Fay clears his line, but only straight past James Grennan. Sends it very quickly back to Conor Martin. Trevor Giles does his best to keep it in. And hits the fence as well in that clash with Ronan Mooney. And that's going to be the sideline ball.
A lot of players so far guilty of the worst crime in football when you're shooting, leaving the ball short. Easy catch for the goalie to set up an attack.
Kieran McManus sending it way over the far side. Mark O'Reilly is there again. Jimmy McGuinness. Not playing in midfield, remember, this afternoon, but at left half forward. Here's John McDermott. Back to his midfield partner of last year, Jim McGuinness. Switching play. Good ball to Brendan Riley. That ball is very much wide. Sliced off the boot. The Dunboyne and Meath captain, I'm sure, not pleased. Huge crowd here at Croke Park, expecting about 45,000 people. Could well be a little bit more than that. We're approaching the 19th minute of the first half. Offaly lead by 2 points to 1. James Brady fouled by Paddy Reynolds. Kieran McManus is the one that's going to take it. Again, not a good pass. John McDermott just taking his eye off it for a moment. Tommy Dowd, one man as loose as Brendan Riley again. That could well work out in Meath's favour eventually. James Brady, a bit optimistic. Barry Callahan anticipated well, sending it very quickly back. Finbar Cullen with a little push on Graham Geraghty. Ronan Mooney, back to Cullen, who's now in a spot of bother. Comes out to Ronan Mooney and Cathal Daly. Barry Malone. Conor Martin has to come out. John McDermott. It's been a most interesting affair so far, despite the fact we've only had 3 scores. Tommy Dowd getting away from Cathal Daly. Dowd with literally the head down, gets in, shot, puts his name on the scoreboard for the first time. The sides are level for the second time. 20 minutes gone. As Tommy Dowd got the better this time of Cathal Daly. From quite a difficult angle, sent it over. Again, a fine, lengthy kick out by Pádraig Kelly. Graham Geraghty sweeping the loose ball, taking on Finbar Cullen. Outside him is Trevor Giles. But Pat Cassidy maintains that Graham threw the ball, didn't pass it correctly. And that's a decision that has upset Graham. This is the incident again, as Finbar Cullen challenged quite fairly, just here.
Well, I think it was a correct decision by the referee. You can't put the ball up with one hand and hit it with the same hand.
James Stewart anticipating well, intercepting was Mark O'Reilly. John Ryan. Cathal Daly. Ronan Mooney. This is going to be a battle all the way to the very end, I feel. Darren Fay went in a sliding tackle. Cassidy not liking that, and giving a free to Offaly. last 12 months. Colm Quinn has blossomed into a fine footballer. He will be disappointed with that. Martin giving it everything. Superbly gathered by John McDermott. Trevor Giles wanted to take it quickly. Now the run is created by Brendan Riley. Tommy down outside. Here's Tommy. Nice little sidestep, left foot. And that is sailing over the bar. Tommy Dowd, ace forward, supreme. Scored a point with his right foot earlier, now with his left, and puts Meath into the lead for the second time. Lovely little jink, got it on here, and Corey Kelly could do nothing about it.
Great space being left in the Meath full forward line by the Meath half forwards pulling right out the pitch. So there's going to be 2 against 2 and maybe 1 against 1 on occasions, and the Meath forwards are doing quite well at the moment in there.
Great catch by James Grennan. James Brady. Not a good ball, however, towards John Kenny. Gathered by Jim McGuinness. Ray McGee. Gone inside is Graham Geraghty. This is Geraghty. Onto the turn, and that is sailing over the bar. It's a golden patch for the Royal County. 2 very quick points, puts them in front by 2 points for the very first time. And young McGee again showed the vision when he saw Graham Geraghty loose and free and available. Good point.
That came about, of course, too, from a dreadful crossfield pass there in the Offaly defence. They're persisted with this tactic. It's okay doing it up in the forwards, but not in defence.
Jim McGuinness wins this free. The referee was blowing his whistle because he wanted the free to be taken where the foul was committed. The pass goes astray. Sean Grennan. There's nobody forward, and John McDermott gets a touch to it. Back to Grennan. Vinnie Claffey. Head down and takes off. Great run by Claffey, going for the goal. That's gone wide. And it took tenacious defending by Meath. This was a great run by Claffey. He took on 3 Meath defenders, and it took just a late challenge to deprive him.
The warning signs are there, though. Sheer speed of Claffey took him by 3 or 4 tackles.
Good punch down by Ronan Mooney. Harry Callaghan. Sean Brennan with him. Donald Curtis. Paddy Reynolds. Good play by Meath. Long ball up towards Graham Geraghty. Ray McGee nips in. Jim McGuinness. Brendan Riley is making the run. Diagonal. The overlap provided. Endon McManus is fouled. And that's another free for me. Once again, Trevor Giles is coming up to take it. This was a nice piece of interplay by Meath. No doubt here that Endon McManus was fouled. And Offaly already are making a substitution. Tom Coffey, who normally plays at wing back, he was wing back last year when they won the Leinster Championship, is coming in. And obviously this is going to make a change to the Offaly lineup, but it looks like Colm Quinn is having a word. He's getting attention.
James Brady is going off, Marty. I think from wing back, and Tom Coffey obviously come on there.
Ball comes back off the post. Cathal Daly with Ronan Mooney. The linesman got a belt of that. I think Mr. White from Wexford will be able to continue on. Trevor Giles trying to feed Jimmy McGuinness. Not falling for the dummy was John Kenny. It's a testing ball. Easily gathered by Cathal Daly. Once again, Ronan Mooney thought about, missed pass, and decided against it. So yes, I can confirm that James Brady is the man that's gone off. Colm Quinn was getting medical attention, and that's what caused the confusion. And on now at wing back is Tom Coffey. Meanwhile, it's Trevor Giles going to take this free. Trevor hasn't lost his touch since I saw him last. That's his first point in the Leinster Championship campaign. And Meath now lead by 3 points, playing against a reasonable, strong summer breeze.
Well, the secret to Meath's success at the moment is they're clamping down totally on the Offaly backs when Offaly have possession. They're not letting them out with the ball.
Well gathered. And here's Tom Coffey. James Grennan. Jimmy McGuinness. This is a very good first 29 minutes performance by Meath. Nigel Nestor leaving it run on for Tommy Dowd. Got it back to himself again. Here's Tommy, and Tommy is loading it in. Corey Kelly is there. John Ryan from Shannon Bridge. Tom Coffey again. Oh, well won. Donald Curtis. Superb. Now can he finish? Another easy ball for Corey Kelly. Under no pressure whatsoever, the Offaly goalkeeper kicks that one astray and gives possession away to Meath. So let's just go straight down to the sideline for a news update.
Well, it looks like Tommy Lyons is going to be calling another change here, Marty. He's after telling Peter Brady to get warmed up, and he's very irate with his forwards at the moment.
Meanwhile, it's Offaly that have the free. And Cathal Daly is going to take it as Peter Brady, as you can see there, just beginning to warm up. What a response I'm sure he will get when he's introduced. Brendan Riley. John Ryan doing well here. Kieran McManus. Finbar Cullen. And that is going to be a sideline ball.
Yes, again, the pressure by the Meath forward line there on the Offaly backs, forcing them into mistakes. But Meath playing by far the better football at the moment and really should be much further in front there after dropping a couple of balls short into the goalie.
Into McManus. Trevor Giles, despite the jersey being pulled by Tom Coffey. Paddy Reynolds. Trevor Giles comes in the overlap. Back to Paddy. Change direction, says Tommy. He heard the call. Jim McGuinness. Offaly chasing after possession, but Meath going in the wrong direction. Here comes Enda McManus. Back to Jim McGuinness. Now comes the shot, and here comes the wide. Good defending by Offaly, it must be said. As Offaly introduce Peter Brady, it's a sign that Offaly have problems up front, and it looks like James Stewart is the man that's making way.
Well, with 2 subs used so early on in the game, Offaly haven't too many options left at this stage, but it just shows that the level of panic in their ranks when they have brought on 2 men.
Finbar Cullen, Kieran McManus, unable to keep it in. Line ball for me. Tommy Lyons disagreeing with the linesman.
Again, dreadful play by Offaly in possession. Can't seem to get it out of this midfield area at all.
Straight to Finbar Cullen. Kieran McManus pushed. Colm Quinn, in fact. That's going to be a free for Offaly. Brian Malone adding to it. Vinnie Claffey, Donald Curtis, and John McDermott. Meadman has gone down injured off the ball. And that's what the crowd are trying to get the referee's attention about. Meanwhile, it's Graham Garrity taking on this Offaly defence, being fouled, and that's going to be a free for Meath, dead straight in front of the posts. Meanwhile, down at the other end, Meath man Donald Curtis, I think it is still down injured. And so much concern about him that Sean Boylan has come in. And the referee, Pat Casserly, has just had a word with his linesman at the far side. It's Bob Donaghy from County Louth. And the referee is going up to have a word, and he's taking out the book. And James Grennan is now being spoken to for that challenge on Donald Curtis. Let's just see this again. As Donald Curtis came out, there comes the late challenge from the number 8, James Grennan. And I'm sure the linesman said it was not a shoulder but an elbow. And Donald Curtis was flattened. Trevor Giles going for his second point of the match. There it is. Meath lead the Leinster and league champions by 4 points. And we are now into injury time at Croke Park in the first half. Now, quietly confident, I'm sure, Sean Boylan. The ball is his at the moment. Plenty to talk about, certainly in Offaly, plenty to think about, as their side trail by 4 points, thanks to a very impressive performance by their opponents, Meath. 6 points to 2, the half-time score.
Paul O'Kelly, Offaly selector, you can't be too pleased with your team after that first half.
No, we took a long time to settle down there, and really we haven't been getting the ball into our forwards at all the way we'd like to. We've brought in Peter Brady now, and we're expecting that if we can settle things down around the half-back line, middle of the field, we should do an awful lot better in the second half. Offaly don't play that well with the wind, and that wind is favouring us in the first half. I expect we do an awful lot better in the second half against the wind.
And you played 2 of your extra cards already in the first half. Does that worry you?
No, it doesn't worry me at all. You know, we've brought on 2 good players out there. Peter Brady's going to make a much better contribution now in the second half, and I'm expecting to see a much improved performance now in the second half.
Thanks very much.
This is my old kitchen, and I'm bored with it. This?
Can Offaly retain their Leinster title? Or will Meath increase their tally of wins over Offaly in the championship from 11 to 12? Answers to be decided, possibly in 35 minutes. Kieran McManus starts as he began the first half at left half forward. Good run by McManus. And after all of that, gets in a shot, which is totally ineffective. Just appears to me, Colm, that Offaly just have not been able to get into a rhythm, a pattern, which they've been able to do over the last 12 months.
Yes, well, Meath are starving them of possession in the middle third of the pitch. The half-backs, midfield and half-forwards in the Meath team are very dominant over their markers. So Offaly just need to start winning the ball, first of all, before they can do anything.
Barry Callahan has to go back here to sweep up. Donald Curtis leaves it for him. Jim McGuinness knocks it down for Trevor Giles. Tommy Dowd makes a crossfield run. It's a little bit too much of an angle, but Brendan Riley gets there ahead of them all. Graham Geraghty has gone inside, but Brendan Riley spots him. Riley is pushed as he was about to take that ball. Rory Kelly falls down as well, but referee has given a free on the 13-metre line for that late challenge on Brendan Riley. As Brendan Riley turned here, you can see that Cathal Daly came in, blatant push on the back, and the referee, Pat Casserly, waited for the ball to land.
Brendan Riley has been struggling with a bit of a back problem for the last couple of months too, so a heavy fall like that on hard ground won't do him any good. That first attack of Meath showed the difference between the two sides. Offaly attacked in the first minute of the second half. A lot of players crowded around. Meath attacked. There was plenty of room for the player with the ball.
Trevor Giles gets his third point of the match. Meath the lead by 5. Punched on by John Kenny, Nigel Nestor and John McDermott. Graham Geraghty decides to go the scenic route. Trevor Giles. Target again is Brendan Riley. And overdoes it. And hands it on a plate to John Ryan, who accepts it gratefully. Tom Coffey and Tom Dowd. Referee Pat Cassidy is booking the corner forward, as there was no effort whatsoever by Tommy Dowd to play the ball. Trevor Giles again. Such a good player. John McDermott back to Giles. They keep feeding him, and he in turns distributes normally quite well. Ray McGee goes back to Barry Malone. Took a heavy knock there as he was coming out. Ronan Mooney, the Shamrocks club, to Peter Brady. Brady cutting inside, dropping that ball in front of Kieran McManus. Conor Martin is there. He certainly is overdoing it, but gets away with it. Donald Curtis, Mark Riley, Barry Callahan. Long ball for Tommy Dowd to run onto. And he gets away from his direct opponent, Cathal Daly. And from almost a replica angle of first half, Tommy Dowd this time sends it wide. Quite can't believe it. Cathal Daly from Tullamore is the player that's down injured. Seems to be holding his ankle. Certainly seems to be that ankle again as we watch this. Tommy Dowd in a race for possession with Cathal Daly. Both of the players fell awkwardly here, but Cathal got up and chased after Tommy Dowd. When Tommy Dowd eventually drove this ball wide, Daly seemed to fall yet again. Cathal Daly has certainly been the most promising young player to emerge from Offaly over the last couple of years, and has blended perfectly into this full-back line. Despite the absence of what would be seen nationally as a recognised full-back, he has been the towering figure. John McDermott. Memories of '96 and his form during that All-Ireland Championship triumph comes flooding back. Colm Quinn. Well won by Mark Riley. Tom Coffey to John Ryan. Ronan Mooney. Colm Quinn yet again. Barry Callahan not falling for any dummies, any jinx. Sean Grennan to James Grennan. Keeper calls, this I'm sure you heard. Conor Martin facing into his own goal. Falls neatly into Finbar Cullen. Looks around for a little bit of assistance from anybody in his half-back line. They're not there. That is a foul by Nigel Nestor. Is so tight that all the players, virtually all the players on both sides, have to go the detour route, cross-field, rather than the direct way towards goal.
Well, the Offaly forwards are getting absolutely no space because the Meath half forwards are all dropping right back into defence, and then with the sort of quality of ball they're giving up, it must be paradise for Tommy Dowd and Brendan Riley.
Colm Quinn. I think we're just happy to see it go over the bar. Offaly get their third point of the match. 4 points between them. 7.5 minutes gone into the second half.
The wrong player on the line there. If John McDermott had to be standing under that one, I'm quite sure that he would have stopped it going over.
The break. Fair shoulder on Ronan Mooney. Pass almost failed to reach John Kenny. It's a good ball for Roy Malone. He'll go for goal. Great point. The Leinster champions are fighting back. Now 3 points between the teams. Beautiful ball by John Kenny. Laid in over Roy Malone's head, who ran onto it. And he rightly kicked that one over the bar. Times for Tommy Lyons. They're beginning to show their character. Jim McGuinness. Not a good ball for Tommy Dowd. Superbly gathered. John Kenny holds on illegally. Free to Meath. Jim McGuinness feeds young Ray McGee. Mooney. Vinnie Claffey and Mark O'Reilly. Vinnie Claffey held back and the referee correctly gives a free to Offaly. The referee is going to book Mark O'Reilly from Summerhill for that challenge. I really don't think there can be any arguments from Mark on this one. Mark and Vinnie Claffey went for possession. There's no doubt that the Meath cornerback was holding his opponent. Colm Quinn, meanwhile, takes the free. It's curling to the right and wide. Still 3 points between the teams.
Offaly had made an interesting change too, to put Ronan Mooney to centre half forward. He'd probably run at Barry Callahan. That might have an effect on the game because Sean Grennan was too immobile there.
A break is taken by Nigel Nestor. Paul Curtis is half blocked, but it does, however, work out for Meath. It's Enda McManus, tripped right in front of the referee. Free to Meath.
Even though Mark Riley has been built there, he's done a very, very effective job on Vinnie Claffey so far. He's sticking very close to him.
Meath players, their hunger quite evident as they go in packs, literally doubles, trebles, looking for possession. Tommy Dowd's shooting is a little bit off. It's 5 wides for Meath. As Corey Kelly will once again set this game in motion. I'm sure from his perspective we'll be hoping that an Offaly jersey can hold on to it. Jim McGuinness, Trevor Giles, well blocked down by Tom Coffey. Enda McManus, John Kenny, nice skill. Finbar Cullen. Injury, and Trevor Giles is now being booked, and Trevor is objecting. I don't really know why, because the challenge was from the Meath man. As Finbar Cullen had the ball here, there was the challenge from Trevor Giles.
Well, he probably hit him side to side, but he was off the ground, and I'd say that's what the referee gave the free against him. I don't think it was anything malicious in terms of elbow up or anything like that.
Barry Callahan to Trevor. Hits it long. Brendan Riley. Tommy Dowd is outside. Still Brendan Riley. Does well despite severe pressure. Graham Geraghty. Tommy Dowd had sneaked inside, but John Ryan had anticipated that was going to happen. Well read. This is going to be a sideline ball to Meath. Brendan Riley again the target. John Ryan getting a boot to it. Another Meath ball. Jim McGuinness is making the run. To say the least. As Offaly come forward again. Ronan Mooney. Vinnie Claffey. Mark Riley. Both falling over each other. Riley slips at a very inopportune moment. Claffey going forward. Ryan Malone. Back to Claffey. And knocked away. It's seen by John McDermott. Offaly players are protesting, but the umpire signalled the ball wide. Tommy Lyons doesn't like it that much either. This was a wonderful run by Claffey. He got the support. That seemed to be knocked away by John McDermott.
Yes, I think it was a fairly obvious 1:45 there for Offaly.
Let's go down to the sideline to get some more news.
And Offaly number 2, Cathal Daly, who shipped that heavy injury in the first half, has signalled to the bench that he's ready to come off.
So we can then expect, obviously, a change rather rapidly to the Offaly defence. Meanwhile, they're in the attack. Kieran McManus, James Grennan. Enda McManus is the player challenging. Finbar Cullen, captain, nipping inside. That's a good run by Cullen, who was fouled as he was about to kick it by Darren Fay. And that's a free for Offaly. And he signalled there, Finbar Cullen, to a section under us in the Hogan stand to shout a little bit more. They need the moral support of the faithful. Colm Quinn to go for his 3rd point. Just 2 points between the teams. Daly is still on the field at the other end of the field. Still marking Tommy Dowd.
Well, Offaly playing badly have struggled back into this game and it's still up for grabs even though Meath have dominated.
Great catch by John Kenny. To Finbar Cullen. That's a throw. And the counter-attack, who well expose an Offaly defence that seem to have moved forward. Graham Geraghty, it's Sean Grennan that's going after him. Great run by Geraghty. Trying to chip it in. McGee, a goal! A goal from the county of Meath. And it's young Raymond McGee that got the vital touch. Kilmainham Wood have a new star. Meath have rocked Offaly back to the faithful county big time as Graham Geraghty chipped it in to Ray McGee, who got just the slightest of touches.
Well, the origins of that score, of course, had come about Finbar Cullen went up the field, lost, had a free given against him for over-carrying, and the ball was delivered back down to his own man, Graham Geraghty, who hadn't followed back, and it ended up in the net. Even though it was a lucky break for Meath, I think Graham Geraghty went for a point, and it was deflected to Raymond McGee.
And almost in an action replay, here's Finbar Cullen. Vinnie Claffey can't hold on to it. Paddy Reynolds to John McDermott. Up towards Raymond McGee. Finbar Cullen. This is a real test for the league and Leinster champions. John Kenny. Vinnie Claffey. Roy Malone on the deck off the ball. Good defending by Enda McManus. And he comes away with it. Nigel Nestor. Two Offaly players holding themselves as a result of that challenge. And coming away with it meanwhile is John McDermott. Ronan Mooney after it. Trying to get it in towards Brendan Riley. Bravely going down in it. Finbar Cullen seems to scoop it away from him. As Offaly live on crumbs at the moment. And that's going to be a free as Tommy Dowd seemed to get a facial injury by accident there. The referee again is having a word, as is Brendan Riley and Finbar Cullen. And Brendan Riley is going to be booked by the referee. This is the incident again, as Barry Malone seems to take an injury. It was in fact Brendan Riley that injured Tommy Dowd, but for personal foul, Brendan Riley was booked. Tommy Dermott, John McDermott rather, catching in spectacular fashion. Cathal Daly did well. Gets it back towards Corey Kelly. Offaly have to start all over again now.
Yes, and every Offaly man is under serious pressure every time they get the ball. I think that's the key to Meath doing well at the moment.
Finbar Cullen yet again, using the long ball. Well gathered by Sean Grennan. Inside is Roy Malone. There's a chance here. If he can get it both to it, the referee, he looks, touched it along the ground and gives a free out. I think in Offaly they will ask a question. Was Roy Malone pulled inside the large rectangle? Was that a penalty?
Yes, it did appear as if he was pulled back initially, but when he went to shoot then he came down. I think the first tackle there, but when he went to, I think it was a bit of a dive there, and then he handled the ball on the ground.
Referee, as you can see in that action replay, was quite close to the play. Made up his mind instantaneously. Tom Coffey. Ronan Mooney. Fouled by Barry Callahan. Free to Offaly. 20 minutes gone now in this second half. Roy Malone. Conor Quinn. Wrong side of the post. Offaly are under tremendous pressure, and as Colm was saying earlier, that is the secret of Meath's success so far.
Yes, and Offaly are a very, very fit team as they showed throughout the league, but if anything, Meath look the fitter and sharper side now at the moment anyway.
John McDermott again. Enda McManus wasn't quite expecting the pass back. Graham Geraghty. Nigel Nestor has been hit off the ball. Jim McGuinness tries to feed Brendan Riley. Vinnie Claffey runs on for Ronan Mooney. With him is Barry Callahan. Glad to drive it just anywhere.
Shows a certain amount of desperation for Offaly too, and Vinnie Claffey, their best scorer, is out getting possession in the middle of the field. Really, for Offaly to win, he must be inside and hope to get a few scores.
This is a real tester. Conor Martin did very well. And he held that ball, and he might be holding his head at the moment, but he really did well. And the Offaly forward was inside the small rectangle. You can see what a real tester this was for Conor. But he held his ground, kept his eye on it, despite being banged up against the post.
I hope the post is all right after Conor Martin hitting his head off it.
Sean Boylan engineered yet another famous championship victory for Meath. It's been a perfect championship build-up indeed for the Royal County, keeping a very low profile, very much out of the public limelight in the last few months. John Kenny, pushed by Trevor Giles, and a free for Offaly. Referee waves play on, gives him the advantage. There's little or no advantage though, unless they can capitalise on it. Peter Brady does well to keep it out. Paddy Reynolds gathers the loose ball. Graham Geraghty. Up towards Ray McGee. Brian Malone. Vinnie Claffey. Good play here by Offaly. But again they lose possession. And that, remarkably, is the captain and full forward, Brendan Riley, deep inside his own half. As the two number 10s clash. There's great experience in Trevor Giles.
Well, he's only 23, but he's 4 or 5 years playing at the top level. Probably the best individual footballer in the country.
Enda McManus. Feeding Jim McGuinness. This is Tommy Dowd. McGuinness is still available if he wants him. Tommy can pass it, which I don't think was a good decision on his part. Tom Coffey relieving the pressure for Offaly. James Grennan. Ronan Mooney. Vinnie Claffey. Offaly come at Meath in waves yet again. Finbar Cullen, the overlap is provided by Colm Quinn. A point here just might be sufficient for the time being. 4 points for Colm Quinn. And it's 4 points, the difference. Good play here by Offaly, but they have to do so much passing just to get a shot at goal and get a score.
Yes, Finbar Cullen is causing a few problems for Meath. He's decided to abandon his defensive duties almost at this stage and come up and attack, and Graham Geraghty would need to be picking him up now as he attacks.
So Jody Devine, as you saw just a moment ago, is on the field for Meath. as John Kenny gathers possession. That, I think, hit off Roy Malone's knee. The referee or the linesman is giving the decision to Offaly. Colm Quinn. Sneaking inside unmarked, James Grennan. Across to Peter Brady. Nothing is going right for Offaly.
No, but every player in possession is under severe pressure, and Peter Brady, when he goes to kick, he had 2 Meath men coming to him at that stage. But he should have put it over the bar. There's plenty of time to take points. Jody is in a corner forward for Ray McGee, and if the ball comes down, the Offaly backs are so spread out at this stage with them all attacking. The half backs have moved up and attacked. There's a lot of room down there, a good chance of a goal.
Nigel Nestor, Barry Callaghan. Punched away, not once but twice by Cathal Daly. And it's Nestor again. Nice ball inside for Tommy Dowd. Jim McGuinness was fouled as he brought that ball in. That's going to be a free for Meath. And Trevor Giles is in no hurry. Almost 27 minutes gone now. 4 points to difference. Gives you an idea of what Trevor Giles is facing. Tom Coffey half blocks it. John Ryan fouled. Quickly taken by Corey Kelly.
In fairness to John Ryan, Marty, he's done very well there at full back. He hasn't been the worst back by any means. He's done very well at full back.
Well, that's a poor ball for Finbar Cullen. Tommy Dowd, Trevor Giles again. Brendan Riley gets it his second attempt. John Kenny is the challenger. Brendan Riley is the scorer. The captain has just scored his second point of this Leinster Championship match, and Meath are back in front by 5 points. This was a good score by Brendan Riley. To work hard to beat John Kenny.
Yes, Offaly have introduced Mark Daly there for Roy Malone. At this stage of the game, they have to get a goal to have any chance of winning, and they don't really look like getting that goal.
Trevor Giles knocking it away. And Tom Coffey. Graham Geraghty is the player that's down on the pitch in the middle of the field. Peter Brady. James Grennan. Back to Brady. He's known for scoring goals, but he can't hold possession. Great defending again by Meath. And Darren Fay and Mark O'Reilly. A lot was made of their absence last year when they met in the Leinster final. And I think their performance, particularly Mark O'Reilly, shows how invaluable they are to Sean Boylan's team and counting. Here's Barry Malone at the other end. Trevor Giles once more underneath it, trying to feed Tommy Dowd, trying to squeeze his way past a whole pile of Offaly players. Graham Geraghty trying to get a touch to it, and there is surely the end of Offaly's reign as Leinster champions. Meath squeeze it somehow past Corey Kelly, and thus this competition is surely over. Stephen Dillon was the man who finally got the touch. Graham Geraghty recovered from injury, and that ball was just inching wide, but somehow Stephen Dillon got the touch. Here's another new name for Sean Boylan, and indeed for the whole country.
Yeah, Stephen Dillon has come on for Jimmy McGuinness and made a very, very fast impression. A very good player, Stephen Dillon. I think we'll hear a lot more about him in the future.
Colm Quinn, meanwhile, floats this. And Conor Martin, almost with a touch of arrogance, went for that. Dropped it and concedes a 45.
Well, the initial mistake came. Offaly again weren't able to clear the ball, and when it was worked back in, same has been happening all day. The Offaly backs have been under such pressure by the Meath forwards. Something had to give, and they're so exposed at this stage. There's huge gaps appearing there, and it was an easy one for Stephen Dillon.
Meanwhile, Kieran McManus puts this over the bar. The point at this stage seems just a little bit insignificant. 4 minutes left. For the first time in over 12 months, some Offaly supporters leaving Croke Park early. They've had a great run under Tommy Lyons, winning a Leinster Championship and the National League for the first time. It's asking a lot though, having done all of that, to beat Meath 2 years in a row. Sean Grennan. Look at the defending by Meath. It's just so many of them are back behind the ball, including Nigel Nestor and John McDermott. Brendan Riley. Graham Geraghty has gone inside. Brendan balances himself perfectly, puts it over the bar. And a hat-trick of points for him.
Meath are sending out a warning here to everybody. They're very, very good in defence now with Mark O'Reilly and Darren Fay back, and they're breaking so fast out. Fitness level is tremendous. You can see they have blasted the pace much better even than Offaly.
Be a line ball. Is it a question, Colm, do you think that the league title has knocked the wind out of Offaly's sails?
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I think Offaly are very well prepared for this game. I think winning the league should have been a big boost to them, but the Meath team is in super shape, and this is the best performance probably by this team overall.
Graham Geraghty just seemed to step up a gear there, nicked it inside, and Brendan Riley! That's a goal and 3 points for Brendan Riley. The defeat in the Leinster Championship hurt Meath severely. They have come back in about 9 months and returned the dose to the team that beat them in last year's Leinster final. But this score was made by Graham Geraghty, and Brendan Riley's finishing wasn't half bad either.
Yes, I don't know whether Graham Geraghty intended that ball across, but it was a brilliant one for a full forward to come running onto.
And there's more to come. Tommy Dowd puts this over the bar. Offaly are dead and gone now. Meath 3-10, Offaly 7 points. Tommy Dowd getting this ball and just not messing around, just putting it over the bar. John McDermott, his fielding has been superb all the way through. Graham Geraghty. Jody Devine wanted it long. Still Graham. Easily anticipated, however, by Sean Grennan. They need to engineer a goal here now. Ronan Mooney. Coming through the middle was Colm Quinn. Barry Callahan has played very well. He's a good reader of the game, if not quite a good passer. Back over towards Vinnie Claffey. Trevor Giles is coming back to defend. fouls Vinny. Free for Offaly. Quickly taken. Colm Quinn. Back to Vinny Claffey. They're trying to get a goal. Here's a chance. That is wide. Thanks to Mark Daly. Sean Boylan has done it again. Kept his head down during the winter and the spring and has come back to Croke Park to win this opening round of the Leinster Championship with a most impressive display. He congratulates Tommy Lyons on their achievements over the last 12 months, but the championship 98 is Sean Boylan's so far. The first round is over. The battle has been won, but not the war. But for Meath, it's sweet revenge for last year's Leinster final defeat, because that's the scoreline. Meath 310, Offaly 7 points.
Graham, in the end it came down as quite an easy victory. Did you think at any stage it could be as comprehensive as that?
Not really. We're expecting a very tough match coming into this, and I didn't think we'd win by near enough in the finish, but I was happy enough the way it did run out like that.
Especially in the second half when the expected Offaly onslaught started and then you got that first goal. Can you tell me about that?
The first goal, I think it came from long ball in, I got it, and it was half blocked down. I think Ray McGee got on the end before he was going for a pint at that stage, but thankfully he put it in the net.
It took us a long time, Micheál, to sort of get on top, and for a long time we were putting Offaly under great pressure, but we couldn't score, and eventually when we got the goal in the second half, it seemed to settle us and we just went ahead from there. But it was very tough up to then. It could have gone anyway, and only our defence was so good, it wouldn't have been as good for us.
Do you think that Meath can play any better than what they played today?
There's probably room for a bit of improvement. Irish. We kicked an awful lot of ball into the keeper's hands, and we missed a lot. But we were very fit coming to today's match, and fitness-wise, I don't think we probably would be able to get any better. But there is a bit to improve, all right. And
was there a serious doubt in your own mind as to whether Meath could top Offaly after what happened last year?
You see, Offaly have been the form team, and right through the National League they played superb. And they were just a bit unfortunate today with some of the Phil O'Reilly and Peter Brady and so on beforehand, and that upsets the balance of a team. And particularly when you're fighting to retain the title, do you know what I mean? And but let's not take from them, because the one great thing about that match out there today was it was seriously honest football, do you know what I mean? But there wasn't a dirty stroke in it.
After a fantastic performance by Meath, was there anything at all that you could find fault with in this performance?
There would always be things when you analyse it, things that we should have got this or we should have got that. But in the nature of things, if over the 70 minutes you can make less mistakes, then you're doing okay.
Were you 12 points the better team?
Yeah.
Yes, well, there had been great speculation all week as to how this encounter might pan out. Meath gave an emphatic answer to us, and indeed to Offaly at Croke Park today. We have analysis of that game, plus our man of the match selection coming up after this commercial break. Well, Meath then winners in Leinster this afternoon, and many pundits had gone for Meath, but hardly by the kind of gap that was between the sides in the end. Well, let's see what Pat Spillane and Tony Davis thought about it all. Tony, by any standards, that was an impressive performance by Meath today.
Absolutely, Michael. We see the old Meath back again. They had the same hunger, the same energy, the same aggression on and off the ball as we saw them when they won the All-Ireland 2 years ago. And they did to Offaly today what Offaly did to them last year. They didn't give them time. They defended in numbers. The half-forward line came back, therefore creating space above. And when they got the ball, they played it simply into the full forward line. And I think a huge contribution was made by Mark Riley, Darren Fay and Graham Geraghty, the three that were missing last year. So I think Meath can be happy with themselves tonight. But Offaly, they did have their chances up to the point in where Meath got the goal. It settled them down. They played more constructive football into their forward line, and they took their goal chances. And in the end of the day, that was really the difference between them.
It's very impressive, Pat, the way that Meath can structure a victory like this. I mean, even during the week, when they made the team selection, it was a late-night job. They still weren't quite sure what kind of line-out they were going to play, so they weren't sort of going into this game sort of ready for it a month before or whatever.
Yeah, Meath had a nice little low-key build-up. I think Offaly found themselves in a similar situation as Meath faced last year. I think Offaly were a tired team. They had to peak. They won their first National League title, and I think they set out to win it because they peaked for 3 games. Now, they had just 3 weeks of a gap then to prepare for a big match in Meath. Now, people will say, well, Kerry won the league last year and went on successfully to complete the double. But it must be remembered that Kerry had a 5 or 6 week gap, and it was Tipperary they faced 6 weeks after, where they didn't have to try and train as hard. Now, I think Offaly got caught there, that they lacked the freshness, they lacked the enthusiasm, and they were a little bit tired. Now, on the other hand, Meath, had waited 12 months for revenge. They were very, very focused. They were very fit. The last 10 minutes, they were the stronger team.
Yeah.
They defended in numbers. They hunted in packs. Their experience told, instead of playing a third midfielder, they played 5 around the middle of the field. Their half-forward line, as Tony said, were constantly funneling back. The only thing I would say is that they dominated the game for long spells, yet they went 25 minutes almost in the first half without scoring, and for 3/4 of the game, Meath couldn't pull away from Offaly, and that would be worrying for Sean Boylan.
Well, nonetheless, Meath took some very good individual scores, Tony, through the course of this match. And the goals, obviously, were key factors in it as well.
Yes, they were. And it wasn't up to this time that Meath did pull away. It was 7 points to 5 when Meath got their first goal. And we can see that Graham Geraghty running at the heart of the Offaly defence. And they seemed to back off. He tried to go for a point, deflected off Cathal Daly, and Roy McGee followed up and put it in there. But all this came from, again, Meath chasing and harrying. Here's Tommy Dowd, won a ball from in the middle of the Offaly defence. Graham Geraghty hits it on, and Stephen Dillon just pokes it into the back of it. But all that, they were living on the edge all the time, chasing everything that was there and working very, very hard. Again, we see Graham Geraghty played very, very well today, running at the heart of the Offaly defence again. I credit him there with a pass and a very, very good finish there again by Brendan Riley. So every time Graham Geraghty got the ball today, he ran straight at the heart of the Offaly defence, but it was all got by hard work by the defence in Meath and the half-backs going back working hard.
I suspect, Pat, that Tommy Lyons will not just be a disappointed manager tonight, he'll be a frustrated one as well, because Offaly had plenty of that ball out there and did some daft things with it at times.
They did indeed. One of the key to Offaly's successes over the last 2 years has been their ply of a two-man full forward line. Now, the success of a two-man full forward line is based on one, winning in half-back line, midfield and a half-forward, and two, a quick direct ball then into that space for the two-man full forward line takes flight. Now, unfortunately, they played second fiddle in the 3 key areas, and when they had possession, they used the ball very poorly. Now, credit to Meath, they really put them under pressure. They closed them down time and again. They gave them no space, no time on the ball. And in a way, Offaly were architects of their own downfall, because here we had Finbar Cullen on the ball. It should be a quick direct ball into a forward who's created space. Instead, Finbar goes across field, over carries it, and now that's very easy to defend against a player going across. He runs into a cul-de-sac along the sideline and loses possession. James Grinnan must have been surprised here for the first time ever to find himself in so much time and space. Last year the ball was popped in nicely in front of the forwards. This year the distribution was very, very poor. And finally we have another clip of Finbar Cullen. Again on the run, the ball should have been released quickly. Instead Finbar solos into trouble, is penalised for a foul, for an incorrect hand pass. Now Nigel Lester took a quick free to Graham Geraghty, who was the man that Finbar Cullen should have been marking. Graham Geraghty laid on the goal for McGee, and from there on in, Offaly were fighting an uphill struggle.
Offaly players, though, Tony, particularly the forwards, were under pressure so much through all of this game. And as a defender yourself, you would have been impressed with the way that Meath just closed this game down.
Absolutely. It is typical how Meath play. They close you down, they put you under pressure all the time, and they cut off your oxygen. You have no time to place a ball or even think. All you do is try and get rid of it into a safe position. Now, they did that all day, and with the help of the Meath half-forward line, they came well back, helped out in every situation. Here we can see Finbar Cullen hitting a high ball into the square. Sean Grennan catches the ball, but he's totally surrounded again by 4 or 5 of the players. A ball into Ryan Malone, and who's standing there? Trevor Giles. Now, the first time I saw that, I thought it was a foul, but in fact it wasn't. He took a dive at the end of the day. Here's Ronan Mooney coming up along the wing with the ball again, surrounded again, nowhere to go. Hits against Brian White, not a pleasant experience, but then again, totally under pressure, have no chance whatsoever. Now, that ball was hit in, broken down by Darren Frey, and Mark O'Reilly won it. The 2 players that were missing last year. So both of them played very, very well today. Any ball that was kicked into the corner, like last year, they hit the ball down the channels into both sides. Today, Mark O'Reilly was out there first, won the ball, and got it off simply.
I suppose also, Pat, on a day like today for Meath, when they're trying to restructure after last year, you need some of your experienced players to come up with the goods today.
Yes, Meath's experienced players came up trumps today. Now, it was vital that Meath won midfield today, because to stem the flow of possession into that dangerous Offaly forward line, it was vital that John McDermott recaptured the form of '96. He had a poor year by his own high standards last year. And today McDermott gave a wonderful exhibition of the almost forgotten art of fielding. Here we see him, a clean catch above James Grinnan, and James Grinnan is no small man, and he shows wonderful strength on the ball to lay the ball back to Enda McManus. And we have a second clip of him here in slow motion, and here's a beautiful example of just how high fielding should be done. Eyes on the ball, Lovely catch, good vision, laying the ball off to the unmarked Mark O'Reilly. And finally, watch him just come into the pitch around the halfway line. This was the only occasion that Vinnie Claffey went past Carlo. Watch McDermott going past, a vital interception, knocks the ball out. Now, while I wouldn't want to question the integrity of the umpire, it was McDermott who hit the ball out, and it should have been a 45, but I don't think it would have made any difference.
I don't think at the end of the day today it certainly wouldn't. Tony, the question that a lot of other counties will be asking nervously tonight is, can Meath improve?
I think they can improve. There was a lot of time in the game today where they kicked the ball into the goalkeeper's hands, and they missed a few frees as well today. Now, I'm sure they've worked on their fitness, and they are superbly fit. They have the hunger back. They were very tired last year after the games they played against Kildare, and they have that madness that all Meath teams have. Any ball that's loose, they die on it. They win all the breaks, and they punish it with goals. And certainly, you know, you can talk about Meath as winning the Leinster Championship and as All-Ireland title contenders, even at this very early stage.
Well, certainly they've impressed our panellists this evening. Pat Spillane, your next act is to name the man of the match from this game.
I think people might already have had an idea with my previous clip. My man of the match was Meath's outstanding midfielder, John McDermott.
OK, well, congratulations to John. Well done on an excellent performance by him today. That is his award as our man of the match winner for this week. Our valuable watch goes to John McDermott for his performance in today's Leinster Championship game. OK, right now we're going to take another break. Coming up in part 3, it's a roundup of all of the other major action from